Hi, everyone. Welcome to Dustin the Blind Minnesotan podcast. Today, I want to talk about some issues that I'm having as a blind and visually impaired person to see if you all agree with me. Because some of you guys might not agree with me, and some of you guys do. So, the first issue I want to talk about is how we label our disability because we can't spread awareness about our disability until people know how we label it. So, the first label I want to say is blindness means you can't see nothing. And then when you have vision loss, so blindness, you can't see anything. Well, vision loss, you can't see any. So you can still see shapes, objects, colors, or something, or anything 5 feet away from your face or less. Because when you have vision loss, that means you have very limited vision. So there's blindness, you can't see anything. Vision loss, that means you have really little vision, that you can only see colors, shapes, blobs of movement in front of you, that kind of stuff. And then there is visually impaired. And visually impaired is a third category because us visually impaired people, in my opinion, our vision's good enough where we don't need a white cane, but our vision's bad enough where we can't legally drive and live like an independent adult. So we're kind of in twilight zone. We can see more than other people in our community, but we can't see enough where we can fit into normal society. Sorry, guys. So that's how I break up the low vision community, you know, in the state of Minnesota that people online fight and nick and scratch about. That's 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 that problem, right? And another problem I want solved is I want cities like Blaine, Fridley, Columbia Heights to kind of embrace a more microbus service. So in Minnesota, we have a service called Metro Micro, where you log into your app the day you want to go someplace. You book a ride through your app. They'll tell you when they're going to pick you up and drop you off someplace, and when they're going to pick you up from that place and drive you to the next place. And it's owned by Metro Transit. I wish cities like Columbia Heights, Fridley, Blaine, Coon Rapids, all kind of Anoka County and more would get that kind of service because Metro Mobility kind of is not. I'm happy it's there, but it's not the best service in the world for disabled people to use and take advantage of. So, I just wish the cities I hang out with and live in would implement the Metro Micro infrastructure and microbuses because sometimes I need to get someplace last minute, right? Where the City Plus doesn't go. I can't just call Metro Mobility and say, please take me someplace last minute. But if I have Metro Micro, I can get someplace last minute. So that is one of the things that I want to tell you about. And another thing is doing produce as a visually impaired man. Doing produce as a visually impaired man is, a little bit difficult because you can't see everything going on with the produce. So, for example, is when I'm dealing with tomatoes, I literally have to look, I literally have to rotate them this far from my face, but this far from my face to see if there's mold and stuff on it. And after I go through the moldy ones and I throw the moldy ones away, I have to feel the fruit. So if the fruit is not perfectly smooth, I don't sell it. But if I feel the tomato and it's perfectly smooth, no wrinkles, no holes, whatever, I will save that product and do something else with it. Um, so me as a visually impaired person doing what I think, what my life is, and becoming a retail employee, and I wish I can take that person and show them my world. So, yeah, so doing produce at Bob Means Our Mike's Discount Foods is very hard, but I'm getting through it okay. Um, and another thing I want to talk about is developers should be focusing on making games for Android. And Apple should be okay with you guys bringing an Apple TV app and the flat exercise balls from Mike's Discount Foods all the way to Bob's Produce Ranch. But, um, not my store, not my place.